not yet apt to what is supposed to be done. And we're also going to now have a discussion, because you attended 3 webinars. You had webinar 1, webinar 2, webinar 3. We are going to have a short discussion for us to share our learning experiences. And we'll be using both the chat and live. We'll be selecting some people. We'll be calling a school, a head teacher, to share something. So there we'll be taking stock on our learning journey over the 3 webinars. We'll also do an audit of effective teaching. And we'll also ask you to think about your lesson observation. How was your lesson observation experiences? Then we'll also look at how you are going to prepare your story. And we are looking at 3 things: your implementation, the impact of your implementation, and your learning experience. So that is what we'll be looking at. But this is will be guiding you on what to do, and this is what you will do after this session. So you'll have like 5 days where you'll be preparing your story over that particular time. So we'll give you a learning outcome and what you need to respond to and how to develop that particular video to do that. And finally, we will prepare with you how you will pitch your 5-minute session, because in the next session, you'll be given 5 minutes to pitch your journey, to tell us what you did, what you saw, what you learned. So we'll give you some tidbits on how to do it, and that will be the end of the session. So this is how this session is unfolding. Definitely it will go over 60 minutes, so we are saying around 90 minutes. So to begin with, we just go about Microsoft Teams. How do you navigate in Microsoft Teams? When you are invited in your mail, you received what we can see on the screen here. What happens is when you click on accept for most of the softwares, it will go away to your calendar. So you might go and check it on the mail and you don't see it again, because the moment you accept, it goes to the calendar. So when you want to join the meeting, go check your calendar, the date where and the time the meeting was. You will see where the meeting is, and you can go and click where the meeting is, and you'll see something like this. On this interface, you can either click at the top here to join, where it's written join, or you can click down here where it is written join Teams meeting. So when you click any of that, it's going to take you in the Teams. So I'm sure most of you came here and you are told you are waiting on the lobby. This is because when you join, you are kept somewhere until the facilitator or the person who's doing the meeting allows you to come in. So if you found yourself being told to wait, it's because you are in a lobby waiting. And when you join, then you will be in such an environment. So in joining, you can change your background, or you can also see the people in the call. So if you look at the corner here, you will see who are your colleagues in this particular call. You can also be able to raise your hand. So raising your hand will allow the facilitator to know that you need attention. So if you click this hand here, it will show that you have raised your hand, and that will help the facilitator in understanding what you're doing. Then on this side, there is chat, and this is what we'll be using most. So when you give you a task, we're expecting you to type on this end and contribute. So, and as you're contributing, also read what other people are contributing, and you can reply to your colleagues, or you can ask a question. So that will be our engagement section as we are doing things virtually. Unless you are called to speak, keep your mic in silence so that there is no disruption in the session. So when you are muted, it means we can't get your background noises, and we have order in the session, like now. So that is what we are advocating to happen. And then you find that when you're doing that, then you can also click on the 3 dots here. And when you click on the 3 dots, you'll be able to see what else you can do with your software. Like you can end the meeting, you can enter full screen. And the other thing is sharing. Because when you are coming to present, you might be asked to share. So this button here allows you to share your screen. So maybe you have prepared a presentation of a picture of something you have done in your school you want to share. When you click this, it allows you to share what you want with your colleagues. So that is something which you need to understand the environment of what you can do. Like now I'm sharing a PowerPoint. I can also share a whiteboard as part of sharing in that particular session. I can also share a desktop. So that is the desk, whatever is on a computer, you can share. You can also share Google, where you are searching for something from Google. You can be able to share that when you click Google. So it allows you to share what is on your screen, because sometimes you want to demonstrate something on your screen so that colleagues can see. Maybe you are presenting so that other people can see. So that is an opportunity to share. You can even share a Word document. Maybe you have a Word document on your desktop. You have typed something, or there's a quote you have, or there's a reflection, or it is a minute of the meeting you had, and you want to share with us as evidence of your implementation. So you can be able to share that. So when you'll be given the 5 minutes in the next session for your sharing, you have an opportunity and you have options to choose what you want to share in terms of presenting evidence of your journey. So that is how we are going to work in Microsoft Teams. And also just a short session to introduce you to the possibility of Microsoft Teams so that you know what is possible and what you can be able to do. For this session, our learning outcome are: 1, for you to participate in the engagement using Microsoft Teams. The next one is for you to reflect on the school project you have been doing from January to March. And for those who are supporting schools or teachers who are attending the KICD radio session and TV, in any way as an instructional leader, you might also be able to share as part of your implementation. And finally, we'll also want you to appreciate the role of reflection and how, despite whatever we are in this particular situation, the geographies cannot impede us, because we have an opportunity to use media to be able to meet, share, contribute, and reflect together. So this is our learning outcome. We expect this for the next 70 minutes. And in this time, our success criteria are your engagement. We would like to see you being engaged and participating, as well as we want you to be able to tap from the ideas from your colleagues, from the lesson learned, and ask yourself, what is it in for me? That is a very critical question, the why FM, because it will help you in building yourself. We are here like we have gone to a shopping, and we want to pick ideas from our colleagues and share our ideas so that we can cross-fertilize our idea and have an opportunity to grow together. Then we also need to reflect on the reflection, because now we are reflecting, but we also reflect on our reflection so that we have an opportunity to build ourselves. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our session, and we have shared with you our learning outcome and our success criteria. I am sure as you came in, you also have your expectation. So we would like you to share your expectation in the chat. Let's go in the chat and share our expectation. What do you expect from this session, having heard what it takes? So let's go to the chat and share. What do you expect from this session, having heard what it's going to bring on board? I can even go back and share the learning outcome. Based on these learning outcomes, what do you expect from the session? Let us share in the chat.
Let's feel free to share on the chat some of the expectations we have. We were told we will have this meeting, and now we are putting our expectations down based on the learning outcomes that have been shared. So feel free, let's share on the chat, please.
You can also share on WhatsApp if you are unable to access the chat. We will be able to follow the conversation.
Thank you very much for that clarification too.
The chat is on the side where you clicked your registration form. That is what you're talking about, the chat. You can just click there and type in your expectations. What do you expect from this session? Thank you, Jen.
So Jen Dungo says to actively participate in MS Teams to learn. We also want you to look at the learning outcomes that have been shared here, and then give us your expectation based on the learning outcome. From Nation, we have learn how to present a lesson in MS Teams. Thank you, Nation. We have another from Rosemary Cargo, to learn how to hold virtual meetings with our teachers. An important one. Thank you very much, Rosemary.
Abdi, there are more posts in WhatsApp.
Okay, let me check the WhatsApp. Or you can help me read them.
Okay. Jenny is saying, my expectation is to share experiences with other head teachers. Hannah would like to practice virtual learning with staff members. Bernard would like to learn how to conduct a meeting. Betty is expecting to learn new issues from other head teachers. Nancy wants to learn from others how to improve on her projects. More is coming. We have Sarah saying to be able to effectively participate in virtual learning as an instructional leader. Agatha is saying our expectation is that once done with this session, should be more knowledgeable to use technology with other members of staff.
Thank you very much for that, and I hope others are also listening to the experience, what their colleagues will be sharing. We have cases of colleagues after our first training, from David to interact with friendly colleagues within this long and popular lockdown. Michael Ngugi to understand better how to connect through MS Teams with teachers, and then Jen Dungu to learn from others through sharing. I think these are very important things. You know, once we know our expectations, it becomes easy for us to follow the session because we will now be focused or aligned towards what it is that we want to achieve. Thank you very much, each one of us who has shared. From Beatrice Nzau, I can see, learn how to hold virtual meetings with my staff members using Microsoft Teams.
So thank you for learning opportunities. So Abvi, what are the virtual learning environments?
The virtual learning environments that we have, the synchronous learning environment and the asynchronous learning environment. These are the two learning environments that we have with us. When we talk of synchronous, we are talking of a situation where you are doing we are in the same place doing same thing at the same time. The instruction is the same. And when we are talking of asynchronous, we are talking of same time, different places. With synchronous, same time, different places, and the instruction is the same. When we talk of asynchronous, then it's different time, same place, and the instruction is the same. Like you are in a different place, but we are sharing information with you, like when we send on WhatsApp. You can receive the information, it's the same information, but each person receives them at the time their phones are on or their network is on and such other things. We have different time, different place, and instruction. Currently, what we are having is different time, different place, but the same instruction. This is synchronous. What COVID has taken away from us is the same time, same place instruction, like what we had as our first meeting, where all of us were seated together in the same place with the same facilitators at the same time, undertaking the same instruction. So that has been taken away from us, and we have been left with these other opportunities where we can have the same time but different place, or different times, different places, but we undertake the same instruction. So this is what we currently have.
Stay in the center of the screen. Your face shouldn't be too high or too low. Camera should be at face level and should maintain a distance of 30-inch or 1 arm distance. Light should be in front of you, not behind you. While using a phone for video call, make sure it's in landscape mode. Your background should be preferably plain or minimalistic. Try to make sure nobody keeps moving around behind you while you are in the meeting. Keep the camera on. It's considered indecent to keep the camera off. Keep the mic on mute when you are not speaking. Rename to make sure your company and your name appears. Try being still. Do not move a lot. And don't fidget. Eating is not considered decent. However, sipping a cup of coffee or tea is fine. You have to speak. Speak in normal tone. Do not shout. Always be on time, or 5 minutes early for meeting. Dress smart and appropriately. You might have to stand. When you are done, let the team know by telling, "I am done" or "thank you." Stick to the time limit. Do not exceed it. Always have a pen and paper handy to make notes of important points in meeting. Make sure your battery power, mic, speakers, internet connection, and camera are all up and running. Be attentive, focused, and avoid multitasking. If you have to speak, prepare and practice your presentation or script. Most importantly, be yourself and smile.
Thank you very much. What we've just seen is tips on how we should be right ensuring that so that whoever is looking at us can see a good portion of that. When we are talking about having light, we should make sure that the light is in front of us and not behind us, because that way you will be allowing your face to be seen clearly. But if the light is behind you, there'll be a lot of light that comes to the person who is watching or listening to what it is that you are saying. Another tip that we have been given that is very important is to ensure that we focus and we remain focused with whatever it is that we are doing. Avoid multitasking. Do not do other things while you are doing your presentation or you are participating online, because to somebody else, they might think you are not you're not listening, or you are not taking keen interest in what it is that they are saying. We have also been told the importance of ensuring that we dress well and also dress fully. Sometimes you can be tempted just to have your coat and just have a short trouser because you think nobody will see you, and then because of an emergency, maybe you stand to switch on the light or something, and people realize you are not properly dressed. So it's important to take care of all this. Assume that you are in the same face-to-face environment by trying to imitate that. Thank you very much for those tips. And remember, when you want to speak, it's important that you show by letting others know. Now, we have very many ways in which we can access whatever it is that we are learning. We have the option of using computers. We can get it from a desktop if you have them. Some of us will have our laptops and we can use them on our laptops. Some are using tablets. You can access information still on the tablets. Some of us even today are using our phones for this particular session. You can still access them. You can also access through the browsers. You can search online and get information online using various search engines. We have Edge, we have Chrome, we have Safari. We have others that you're using, like Mozilla. So whatever it is, we cannot say that we don't have an opportunity to get information in different platforms. We can utilize different devices and still get access to the information when we are talking of this synchronous setting. Now, others can be looking for the information and they're getting it directly and copying them down because they are using machines that are not theirs. You might be using a laptop and you're getting information from the laptop because you've just borrowed it from a friend, or you're using it from a library, or you're getting it from other persons, or you are sharing with a colleague, or it is one of the ones the ones that have been provided for the school. So you can utilize that. Another option that we have is there are those who have been accessing these through a projection of projector that is done in a place. You can see, like in this situation, they are inside a church and they have taken the social distance so that they can continue learning but maintaining the social distance. So they are all getting the same information at the same time from somebody who is in a different place, but they are in the same place. So we can still have that as a mode. Maybe that is something that you might even be having as a school, where you just project the same information and all the teachers are sitting together. We also have the option of accessing it from our mobile phones. Wherever we are, we just have them, and we can have them as a group chat where we share with others. So all these are diversities that we are talking about. Now, we want to take stock following the webinars that we've had. Remember, we had 3 webinars. we had webinar 1, we had webinar 2, and we had webinar 3. What we want to take here is just a reflection. We want to get a reflection from you about the key learnings that you got from each of the 3 webinars that we've had. In webinar 1, what were your key learnings? What was the key learning from the first webinar?
So let's use the chat and share. What is it that we took away from the first webinar? Also, please read what your colleagues are writing. You can also pose a question. So keep looking. You might see your question and you might need to answer that particular question. So let's use the chat. So let's use the chat.
For those who cannot post on this chat, we will still be reading I will read your messages on the WhatsApp platform.
Maybe you can remind us the topic of webinar 1.
Louisa, it should be the other way around because we all attended the webinar 1. Let me ask the head teachers, do you remember the first webinar? What was it all about? I think we need to start there. Can somebody remember webinar 1? What did we do? We had joint practice development. We had classroom observation. What was the first one? I've given you the other 2 to make it easy. Any of us who can remember the first webinar?
I know it has been a while, but we can jog our memories. I can see someone has decided to be very kind to share with us a link to the folder that had the webinars so that we can just refresh our memories.
Anybody who can remind us? What was the first webinar? The first webinar was giving effective feedback. Where we had a session and we discussed about giving effective feedback. So can we go to the chat and we get feedback from our colleagues? What did you learn from that particular webinar?
Yes, please.
Yes? Yes, please. Somebody's trying to say something. What did we learn from the first webinar, if you can remember? Are we in the right class?
We are in the right class.
I had shared the link earlier for people to get familiar with the webinars. I think they must have gotten lost in the activities in the forum.
No, but yeah, but maybe we are not in the right class. That's what I'm wondering. Okay, the first webinar was lesson observation. Let me see if I can quickly jog people's mind. Maybe if they see something, they will it will trigger their memories. We are talking about lesson observation in the first webinar. Let me quickly flash something.
So I can see from Hannah Mambo, she's talking about reflective teaching. From the first webinar. You can see it on the screen now. This was webinar 2 on lesson observation, moderation. Do we remember any of this on lesson observation?
Yes.
Okay, if we can remember, just try to jog your memory back and note down anything that you got out of this. It is being replayed for us to see. Thank you, Jen Thungu. Reflective feedback is formative to improve learning. Sarah Korea says, giving feedback means you've received, understood, and accepted. Thank you, Sarah. So we have 2 so far who have commented. Thank you very much, Daktari, for that quick run through. I hope we've had an opportunity to just jog our minds through that visual presentation by Daktari on giving feedback and moderation, lesson observation and moderation. So do we have any other points that you can remember, part of your key learnings that you can put on the chat? We have seen 2 so far. Okay, from Peter Ndirangu, engaging students and teachers in feedback through effective communication. Thank you very much, Peter Ndirangu. Elikana Njuguna talks about giving effective feedback. So what was your main takeaway from that? What did you take away from giving effective feedback? Yeah, I can see some more typing, which we shall share. Michael Ngugi says reflective feedback helps identify what needs to be improved and what went well. Thank you very much, Michael Ngugi. Reflective feedback. Okay. Effective communication for effective feedback by Gῖokõ. Thank you very much. I know it is taking some time to load slowly in our memories. We are trying to come back to, so I'll give us some little more time so that you can refresh your mind, rejog a bit.
Abdi.
Yes.
Yeah, from the WhatsApp, we have Elkana and Juguna is saying giving effective feedback. And then we have PK Mbugwa says effective communication for effective feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Elkana. Thank you very much, Daktari. Thank you. We are taking stock. I have seen another one on the chat on the WhatsApp by Sarah Kuria. Feedback also tells us people have accepted and are ready to improve, but if there is no feedback, then we have not understood or they don't want to act on the information. Thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you very much, Sarah, for that. We still have some 2 more minutes. If you can jog your mind and get what you can pick as your key learning from the webinar.
Abdi. Abdi.
Yes, Hannington.
Jen Tungu from the chat says effective communication is key in giving feedback.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And Jen Tungu has contributed severally. I want to appreciate you for that. Now in webinar 2, what was the key learning? You see, we are taking stock and we are helping ourselves remember some of the things that we did. We just want to remember what it is that we did. What was our webinar 2? We've looked at effective feedback.
In the second webinar, we were looking at lesson observation. We were looking at strategies of lesson observation, types of lesson observations, and the tools which you can use in lesson observation. So please share your key learning. What is it that you took away from the second webinar on lesson observation?
And thank you very much, Eunice, who posted in the chat that lesson 2 was on lesson. I think that shows you have already jogged your memory and you are at speed with us. So let us share on lesson observation. What can we share? We've talked about feedback. We've done something about it. Now it's on lesson observation. Wazee wakumbuke. Okay, Rosemary Cargo says lesson study where teachers plan together. That's a takeaway from lesson observation. That after the lesson observation, they can do a lesson study where the teachers can plan their work together. Thank you, Rosemary. I can see the WhatsApp is quite active right now. A number of people are typing their chats.
Abdi, we have Agatha. Effective feedback gives positive change. Eunice, lesson 2 was on lesson observation, criteria of observing lessons.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Daktari, for reading.
From the charts, Abdi.
Yes.
Once again, Jane Thungu says that peer observation is useful as it helps colleagues support and learn together. It enhances communities of practice.
Thank you very much, Jen Dungu. Thank you very much, Jen Dungu, for that. On the WhatsApp, from discussing lessons observation to improve, to enhance improvement. So talking about the importance of discussing after you observe. You just don't observe and leave, but you observe and then you discuss with the person whom you have observed. I can see another one from Rosemary Cargo. Focus on learning and collection of data together to assist one another. Very much for you. Our focus should be on learning. Let us not focus so much on the teacher. Let us focus on what the learners have learned. That was a very important takeaway. I can see our memories are back and we are now participating sharply.
Agatha says,
yes.
Agatha Karimi says, lesson observation is not done to criticize, but for building each other.
Fantastic.
There is a participant by the title Blessed Girls. The Blessed Girls says, lesson observation is meant to improve the next lesson.
Very important. So it is informing the next lesson and how to improve. Thank you very much from the Blessed Girls. We still have some 2 minutes. We have some 2 minutes. Let's get as much as we can. We are taking stock. We are reminding ourselves.
PK Mbugwa says lesson observation requires prior planning.
Very, very important. We are not supposed to ambush our colleagues. It's a question of planning together. We have to plan that we are doing an observation. Thank you very much, PK, for that.
Eunice.
Continue.
Eunice says lesson observation demonstrates progress and allows understanding.
Thank you very much, Eunice. Thank you very much, Eunice, for that. That lesson observation demonstrates progress and allows understanding. I can see Peter Ndirangu has also shared, and Peter Ndirangu says, teachers providing professional support and development for the learners in the success of any lesson or task undertaken. So that is one of the key takeaways that he got from lesson observation, that after the lesson observation, he can provide professional support and development for the learners in the success of any. Michael Ngugi says you meet to prepare on when and where to focus on during lesson observation. This is it links very well with the issue of planning together before the observation is done. Anything on the chat?
Bernard Gῖokõ says, lesson observation is perimeter of what is required to achieve. Lois, lesson observation improves our approach to teaching and learning. Sarah Kuria, have a prior meeting before lesson observation and agree on expectations. After the lesson, start by giving positive, not negative details if she's be clear. Hannah, bring confidence to the learners and the teacher. Rose Karume, lesson observation identifies strengths and weaknesses in order to improve the next lesson. PK Mbugua, lesson observation helps professional development. Beatrice Nzau enhances collaboration in quality teaching and learning.
Thank you very much, our instructional leaders. I see that our minds are now back and sharp more than it was when we started. And I think now we flow very fast, like do we remember what webinar 3 was about? Somebody to help us jog our memories.
So in webinar 3, we were exploring what we call JPD, Joint Professional Development. We were unpacking and looking at opportunities for continuous professional learning to happen in the school under the guidance of the school leader, creating opportunity, environment, structures to facilitate teachers to learn together, as well as to be able to track if what they are learning is being transferred from principles into practice.
Fantastic. Thank you for the snapshot. It is about joint professional development. It is about providing. What are some of the key learnings that we picked from that? Let's share on the chat and also on our other chats. Okay, I can see one here. From the WhatsApp, S.A. Kamau says, help to organize activities that will involve learners. Babanjeri Karanja says, lesson observation enhances content delivery to learners through giving guidance to the teacher. Thank you about the lesson observation. Now we are on joint professional development. Kanan Juguna says peer planning, peer teaching, peer feedback. So you are providing that. Patrick says so motivates the teacher and the learners. Thank you, Patrick. Now we are on joint professional development. Rosemary Chicago says learning from peers and continuous learning. Fantastic. Thank you very much for reminding us your key takeaway.
Hannah Mambo. Hannah says we need to work out action plan in order to be organized in our activities. Eunice says involves interaction and focuses on the learner.
Thank you very much.
There is Sakamau. Measure to what extent learning has been achieved. PK Mbugua, sharing ideas with others for effective teaching. Mercy Karonjo, learners learn from one another. It is learning as a team.
Hannah and Eunice. But speaking here is the ideas when we are talking about providing the opportunity for people to learn together, that we are learning from one another. Joint professional development. There are more ideas on joint professional development. Let us, I'm still waiting for them to appear on our chat here. What do you do to enhance joint professional development within our schools? Based on the webinar that we've had, what was the key learning?
Agata Karimi says, JPD is building expertise and improved practice. PK Mbugua, sharing good practices with others. Jenny, JPD was the best learned about peer teaching and feedback.
Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your contributions. Any other?
There is
Nancy,
Nancy
more points are coming
Mushiri.
through.
Nancy Mushiri says teachers to be open-minded so as to learn from each other for professional growth.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
Eunice, JPD is a powerful approach to improving teaching.
Thank you, Eunice. If you can help us to unpack that.
Before she unpacks, Sarah Kuria, it is a powerful ways of bringing teachers together to reflect on one specific lesson. These teams work together in a systematic cycles of planning, teaching, observing, refining, and reviewing specific lessons.
Thank you very much, Sarah. I think she has captured quite a number of things there that in joint, so it's a powerful.
PK Mbugua, taking stock, and having a reflection after the lesson. Abdi, we seem to be listening you.
Way of bringing teachers
Okay,
together
I
to
think
reflect that they are working together.
Dr. Adi?
Yes, Huntington, you wanted to speak?
Yeah, Abdi, we seem to be losing you, but Eunice says it's a powerful approach in that it empowers teachers by learning from each other. Abdi, you seem to be breaking a lot.
Sorry about that.
Thank you very much for sharing your webinar journey. I hope that ideally the webinars were staggered so that after you have done one, you are supposed to go to school and try it so that you internalize what the webinar was about and you contextualize the principles in your school so that you can see them live in your context. Thank you for that. We had to jog our mind to remember. And this is our practice, whatever we have been doing in terms of giving feedback, lesson observation, joint professional learning. Those are the key elements of the instructional leadership. If you look at the 9 abilities of the instructional leadership, they cover all that. So the webinars were to consolidate and to reinforce your instructional leadership skill with gaps for you to practice, implement, contextualize, and immerse yourself as you have a deeper meaning of how it looks like in your environment. So thank you very much for sharing. We have got an insight of what we have. That is why reflection workshop is all about, because you learn one thing, but when you go to your context, you have a different adaptation. And therefore that adaptation is the gains in terms of your learning. And we would like to learn from you on how you are able to adapt. So one of the things as an instructional leader, one of your core business is to be able to audit effective teaching and learning. And the purpose of auditing is for you to be able to identify the gaps and to explore how principles and practices can come and respond to the gaps. Because you might be in your school and you find the teacher A is doing better than teacher B, and you like teacher B to be like teacher A. So you have an opportunity at that leadership level to create an environment where these two teachers are working together. But you can only do that if you have clarity in terms of your lenses to see what is good teaching. So tell us, according to you, how do you know it is good teaching? Whatever if you go to a classroom to observe, or if you look at a child's book, or if you engage with a learner, or if you engage with a teacher or a parent, or you see students' performance in something, how do you know it is good teaching? Can you share in the chat? Let's share our perspective. On good teaching. Let's share in chat.
So I can see from Sarah, from Mercy, who says it focuses on the learner. From Rosemary Cargo. From Rosemary Cargo saying pupils answering questions excitedly.
Okay.
From
Nancy Mushiri.
Nancy. Yes, Hamilton.
Nancy says if learners are actively participating and giving feedback. Wambari says lesson observation. I think we are done with the lesson observation. Elkanah says good teaching is learner-centered and the learners are actively engaged. PK Mbugwa says learners are able to accomplish. Eunice Ngugi, where the learners are fully involved and they are working together with the teacher throughout the lesson. James Karanja, involving all learners actively. Eunice, the lesson is collaborative and learners are engaged. Hilda, if it involves all learners. Sarah, when learners are giving feedback effectively. Agatha, good teaching happens when complex ideas are explained in simple ways. PK Mbugwa, learners look motivated.
Thank you very much, Echo. And thank you for the good feedback.
So thinking about your school, can you give us the overall percentage of good teaching? Is it 100, 95, 85, 50, 35? How will you gauge the percentage of good teaching in your school? Give us a number, a percentage.
From Paul Mwangi, 80%, Agava 65, Jenny 75, Eunice 80.
Thank you very much.
Sarah Kuria talks of 75. Hannah 75, James Karanja 75, Rosemary Kago 70, David Makimei 85, Peter Ndirango 75, PK Mbugwa 90, Elkanah Njuguna 75. I can see here we are at almost the excellent level.
Thank you very much for that. And you can see from your responses that there is room for improvement. You can also see from your responses that we have diversity in our teachers. Like Mr. K says, 50 to 75%. We have diversity in the competency of our teachers. And therefore, as instructional leaders, we have that particular opportunity to fill in the gap by either tapping into principles or tapping from the exemplary practices within our schools. So that is the opportunity we have. And we have been able to give this information because we are observing lessons, because we are reviewing students' books, because we are speaking to students, because we are speaking to teachers, and because we are speaking to parents, and also because we are listening to the CSOs when they have come in terms of the feedback. So it gives us multiple ways of collecting data to know what is happening in our schools so that we can have a clear picture on where is our schools in terms of what we decide. Now, since lesson observation is like our key for us to determine where our school is, for us to see, understand what is happening, I'd like you to list at least 5 top challenges or problems you are experiencing in classroom observation. According to you, according to your context, according to your environment. List 5 challenges which you are experiencing as you undertake classroom observation. Let us list the 5.
From PK Mbugua, negative attitude from some teachers on lesson observation. So this is one of the challenges.
Any other observation? Any other challenges?
From James Karanja, teachers' negative attitude to be observed, no time to observe all teachers, non-commitment by teachers.
Okay.
Then Hannah Mambo, teachers not preparing adequately.
Okay. Any other challenge we are going through observation? You can see we are not at 100%. So it means that as we are observing, we are seeing less challenges. What are the challenges we are experiencing during lesson observation? Either when we are planning, when you are observing, or when we are giving feedback. What kind of challenges are we experiencing?
Jenny says, Dr. G.
Yes.
Jenny says, tension among the teachers during observation. Learners are very excited during lesson observation. Elkanah says, time factor. The teacher per class, staffing policy, a lot of workload on head teachers. PK Mbugua, lack of adequate time to carry out the observation. Paul Mwangi, lack of enough time to observe. Sarah Kuria, learners think the teacher, their class has done something wrong. Over to you, Dr.
Thank you very much. That is very comprehensive. So thank you for sharing all those challenges which we are going through. So what I like us now is to rank. We have heard about all those. Even if you have not contributed now, you have seen what your colleagues have contributed. So I want now, from now, we choose from the list which Huntington has read and which Abdi has read. And we want to identify one of it so that we discuss on how to solve it. Can we vote? Which one are we going to pick? Just write the name and Huntington will count which one is appearing many times. Look at what your colleague has posted in WhatsApp or in the chat here and pick one. And from now, 10-10 posts. We're going to look from 10-10 onwards, which one is appearing most. Then we'll have a discussion. Let us start now. Look at what has been posted by our colleagues or yourself and identify one. So, Abby and Huntington, look at which one is appearing most from 1010.
One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8.
Post your top. We are now looking at which one is most appearing, so we have a discussion.
So far, we have teachers' negative attitude at 14 from 14 different posts.
It has gone to 16, Abdi.
16 now.
Okay.
And it's also appearing on our chart for this meeting. I can see 4 of them.
So I think now we are going to discuss the negative attitudes. So please raise up your hand. I can see Louisa, you have raised up your hand. Please raise up your hand and we want you to speak. You speak out because we have now selected negative attitude by teachers and we want to have a discussion on how do we address negative attitude. So raise up your hand if you want to speak. We'll pick your name. Yes, Beatrice Zhao, can you say something about it? How do we address, and unmute your mic and tell us how do we address negative attitude by teachers? Beatrice Zhao, unmute your mic. Tell us how are we going to address negative attitude. We are having a verbal now. We'll select you. Raise up your hand. We select you. You contribute as we listen. Beatrice Zhao, your hand was up.
Mr. Kamau, I had also seen your hand up.
Joseph Kamau.
So unmute your mic. Kamau, unmute your mic and then speak.
Yes, Paul Masharia, you'll be next. Let's finish with Joseph Kamau, then Paul Masharia. Joseph Kamau, we can't hear you. You are still muted. Unmute. Click the mic, unmute, then speak. Then we'll go to Paul Masharia next. Joseph Kamau, unmute yourself. And then
thank you. Now, by showing your teachers how to do what you want them to do first. I believe in that.
Okay.
By showing your teachers how you want them to do or what you want them to do by doing it first yourself.
So you are saying
a leading example.
So Joseph Kamau, you are saying that we need to model and lead by example.
Yes, we model first
before we demand from them.
That is the ultimate thing.
Thank you very much, Joseph Kamau. Paul Macharia, your hand was up, then Paul Mbugua. Yes, Paul Macharia. Unmute yourself when you start speaking. Click the microphone, click the small microphone to unmute yourself. Paul Macharia. Yes, tell us, how do we remove negative attitude?
Sasa ukienda kukaa huko hiyo na unanisaidia, lazima niwe nikipita kwa ni mute.
Paul Macharia, please. We are listening. Paul Macharia, we are listening from you. We can see you. Speak now. You are unmuted, Paul Macharia. Macharia, unmuted. Speak, we hear what is your contribution. I think we are having a challenge with Paul Macharia.
So Paul Mbogwa can continue as we sort out with Macharia.
Paul Mbogwa, please.
Okay, good morning. I think it is very, very important, first of all, to bring the teachers on board in a staff whereby you sit down and agree that you will be doing observations so that they can own and of course have a schedule whereby you will have a timetable so that they can know when the observations will be done so that the teacher can be adequately prepared. That is very, very important. But of course, when you just go to a class and of course you want to observe the teacher and you have not prepared that teacher, then of course that becomes an issue. So it is very, very important that the teachers are brought on board so that they can own the process. Thank you.
So Paul Mbugwa, what you are addressing is system and structures. But here you are addressing an issue of social structure because it's attitudinal. You have made a schedule, you have told them I'll come to your class. How do you address the attitude thing? How do you involve me? That attitude is a social thing, but what you have told me is a leadership thing. You are in authority. When you make a timetable, I have no obligation to challenge you or to refuse. I have to follow the rules. How will you touch my heart so that I invite you in my class with opportunity to grow? Mbugwa, please come on, Mbugwa, tell us more. Paul, come. You are still muted. Unmute yourself, Mr. Mbugwa. Then tell us more. And Nancy Macharia be next after Mbugwa. Bwana Mbugwa, unmute yourself. Bwana Mbugwa, you are still muted. Unmute yourself.
I have. Thank you.
Yes.
I think it is important to lead from the front and at the same time, the teachers to realize the importance of effectiveness and try to bring them on board to understand that for the learners to achieve or to gain more, there is something that needs to be done. So the teacher should own that idea of, delivering good work. And therefore, without monitoring, it cannot be very, very effective. So it is important the teacher has to understand that there is need for monitoring so that that attitude can be dealt with. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we go to Gῖokõ? Gῖokõ Primary. Gῖokõ Primary. And sorry, it was Nancy Mushiri first, then Gῖokõ. Nancy Mushiri, can you unmute and give us your contribution? Then we go to Gῖokõ. Nancy Mushiri, unmute.
Yeah. Okay. I think the way we can, the head teachers can address the issue of negative attitude is if they are friendly to the teachers, so that they create a rapport with them, and so that they see it's not like a punishment. The teachers are not out to look for, the head teachers are not out to look for mistakes, but they're out to correct them and I think encourage them also so that they realize it is for their own good. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nancy Mushiri. So Nancy, you are talking more about the social aspect of now addressing, speaking to the heart. Okay, so we have some Gῖokõ Primary. Gῖokõ Primary, can you unmute yourself, sir, and give your contribution? Unmute yourself, you're still muted. Unmute yourself. We can't hear. We can't hear still, Gῖokõ Primary. We can't hear. Check your microphone.
Click on your mic.
He's unmuted, but we can't hear. So while we are sorting Gῖokõ Primary, can we have Bernard Njoroge Karaoke? Can you unmute yourself? and share with us how do we address the negative attitude?
Thank you, sir. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can hear.
Yes. I would, first of all, have few teachers attending my lesson and they observe me. So when they come and see that they are seeing how I'm teaching, when I'll call on them that I want to go to their class, I believe they will be ready to be assessed. Thank you.
And why do you believe on that? Tell us, why do you believe? You have given us something which you don't know. When they come to your class to observe
I believe on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, continue.
I believe on that, so that nobody will see as if it is witch hunting. They will see it is part and parcel of what is happening.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Continue. You like to?
By so doing, I will also ask them to give me feedback on where I was doing well and where I was. I will change my teaching methods.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. It is not where you will change, is where you might think to change, because when you come to observe me, I've done my best, and you are giving me your perspective. So you are giving me other ways of doing it, which I might need to think if I can address them. Thank you very much, Bernard Njoroge. Rosemary Cargo, your hand is up. Rosemary Cargo, can you unmute and tell us something?
Yeah, I would.
You have devices, can the other one, or reduce the sound of the other device? You have two devices.
Hello, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. I would first of all create a team in my school. Create teamwork. Teamwork in the school. I would first of all, maybe the teachers are not ready to work together. So I first of all make sure that they are a team. I create teamwork in my school. Then the teachers can form. We can form groups, which can first of all go to different classes. We organize going to different classes, whereby they'll be observing each other, and then the fear of being observed will disappear. Yeah. And then observation can be an activity in the school that is normal. So the teachers will be learning from each other the good practices, and in the next time when they are being observed, they are going to be very ready to be observed. In fact, they'll be asking, can you come and observe my lesson? They learn from each other.
So, Rosemary, how do you reach that level whereby the teacher are eager and they want to come?
I'm sorry.
Can you switch the other device? You have two devices in the room. Wherever you are.
Yeah, I think, let me use one device. Yeah.
So the question is, what do you do to realize that aspect of they want to call you to come and observe them? What is it that you do?
Yeah, what is it that I do? Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, come again. I think I've been using two devices. So
switch one device off, or put the volume.
Yeah, I've off the other one.
Are you in the room with two people? Because you're getting a feedback.
No, I'm alone.
Okay. So now tell us, you have said something very interesting, that when you create teams, you will create an environment whereby the teachers will reach a level whereby they long to be observed. They even come and observe. So my question is, what unique thing do you do for that to happen? I can see Joyce is
what I need to do.
Yes.
Okay, what I need to do for that to happen. What I need to do for that to happen. Let me switch off the phone, I think. What I need. I don't know what I've been doing.
We are listening. Continue.
We can hear you. You are quite clear now.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Very clearly.
What I need to do is, first of all, to demystify I demystify the observation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I make sure that they don't see as if it's something strange. When they are observing each other, they'll be able to make you feel that they are free to be observed. They are free to be observed. They'll be observing each other. And so it will be team. It will be a team that will be observing each other, not me particularly. So it can be the whole team. We divide them in groups to observe each other, so they learn from each other. So we develop a practice in our school.
Thank you very much for that. I can see Kamau Joseph, you want to say something? Can you say something before we go to Joyce Ndaya? If you're having two devices, switch off one or reduce the volume of one to 0. Okay, Kamau Joseph, unmute yourself. We hear. How do we bring this issue?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Kamau.
All right. Okay, I would think that creating a professional and a friendly administrative and professional approach to the teachers would address this very highly. Two, I have a relatively different thing. I don't know whether people have ever tried this one. By developing a questionnaire for the teachers to address their responses during observation sessions, where they will tell you independently what they may have seen during the observations, the ones observed and the ones who are observing.
Okay. So you are talking of the teachers participating in the observation, and they are the ones also sharing their notes in terms of what is the purpose of the question?
Exactly. The role of the questionnaire in this sense is that some teachers may not be willing to give their responses directly. Maybe for maybe not wanting to know, this one observed me and he said this about me. Possibly, I would think that if you give them a questionnaire, they will give, you as an administrator, you're also likely to know some of the things that, or some of the feelings that some teachers may be having, and they don't wish to express them, maybe in an open place.
Thank you very much. So you are creating a self environment, you are creating a cushion, but you're also opening up opportunity to voice out. Thank you very much, Kamau Joseph. Let us hear for the last person, Joyce Dyer. Tell us what is your perspective? We want to ensure that we address the attitude thing so that teachers are open to lesson observation. What is your perspective, madam? Can you unmute yourself and share your perspective? Click on the small microphone there and it will mute. Madam Joyce Ndaya, unmute yourself and tell us something. The rest, if you have something to say, please type it in the chat, because we are now finishing the conversational part. So if you have any additional point, type in the chat. Madam, please unmute. You are still on mute, madam. Click on the microphone so that you remove the line which is cutting the microphone like that. On your screen at the top, you will see a microphone with a line.
Dr. G?
Yes, please.
There is a participant, Hannah Mumbo, says she wants to share her experiences, but you can't recognize her. Please allow her.
Hannah Mumbo, can you speak? Hannah Mumbo, we are listening. Hannah Mumbo, unmute yourself and share your experience. Hannah Mumbo.
Click on your mic. Kindly click on your mic so that you can be unmuted.
Hannah Mumbo. Hannah Mambo, unmute yourself. So these are the small.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear
Can
you.
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah, I want to share my experience. After our training, I decided to organize a capacity building for my grade teachers, and I had prepared for a lesson, and I made them sit down like my learners. I was able to teach a lesson in social studies, and after the lesson, I gave them time to criticize my lesson. And they would tell me, this one, you would have done this, you would have prepared this way. And after that time, we were able to organize different teachers so that they can observe their colleagues. And they were very comfortable because I was also comfortable when they criticized my lesson. And now I could see that we are a good team because no one is feeling lesson observed. Because I myself do that, and I give them time to criticize the lesson for betterment of our teaching practices. So I think that one is also very important.
Thank you very much, Hannah. You have shared something which is critical, and it is not about criticizing your lesson. It's about critiquing your lesson. So you gave the teachers an opportunity to critique your lesson. Critique is having a critical eye and giving you alternative option which you need to consider. Criticizing is condemnation of what you have done. So the right way is a critique, so that there is alternative way. It's very good. It is easy to put yourself as a leader there for exposure, but it's also very good for teachers to appreciate what is possible for that to happen. So thank you very much for sharing. So you can see, ladies and gentlemen, that we can be able, leaders, to sit in a round table and discuss our problem and come with a solution. Do you think attitude now be a problem for us? Can we write in the chat yes, maybe, or no? Do you think, having had this, and if we are going to apply this, do you think attitude will be a problem for us? Answer in the chat, yes, no, or maybe. Yes, no, or maybe. Rosemary Kagwa said no, thank you. Yes, no, or maybe.
From the chat,
yes.
From the chat, we have Nancy Mushiri, no. Agatha Kilimi, no. Paul Mwangi, no. PK Mbugwa, no.
Hana mambo no.
So I can see Peter M is saying yes. Okay. So now you can see what Lisa was talking about when we meet as school, when we meet as sub-county, when we meet as county. We'll have opportunity to thrash out some of the challenges we are having. And we hear the ingenious way our colleagues are using to solve the challenge. And collectively, we come out with the tools, ideas, approaches, which we can go back to our school and address the challenges we are having and solve them. So that is the aim of Reflection webinar, and that is why we meet here and we discuss what to do. So now we want to prepare you on how you are going to prepare your video. You're supposed to send us evidence on what you have been doing. And in the evidence, you're supposed to answer the following question: how you took principles and put them into practice, how you promoted the vision in your school, how you delegated your leadership to ensure that everybody had an opportunity to contribute, how you are able to identify good practice and use that identification to multiply it in your whole school, how you are able to know what learning is happening in your school. And we would like you, as you're answering these questions, to tell us what you did, what you sent, and what you learned. So we are going to give you an example. It's a model which you can learn from. So I will pretend I'm a head teacher from Shule Moja School, and I will take through how I will do this if I was the head teacher. Listen, try to pose questions in the chat on any question you have on this. So if the facilitators have given me this as a head teacher of Shule Moja School, I'm supposed to prepare something. And in this preparation, I need to give school information. I need to give status before the implementation. I need to give the evidence. And I also need to show implementation, impact, and learning. I'm only going to demonstrate for the PowerPoint because we are advocating for PowerPoint. But if you, once you have listened and you think you can't do in PowerPoint, you need to talk to us. We explore how we can do it in a different way. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a head teacher from Shule Moja, and now I want to prepare for the school project because from the webinar, we were told to prepare a video. So I'm using PowerPoint, and the first thing is I want to explain about my school, and this is the name of my school. It is in Kijiji town in Mjini, and it is in Kati zone. And in my school, these are what I have. So before I came to this course, in my school, we had some issues in terms of the vision was not clear, and we did not have any professional learning in the school. And some teachers are going to class late. And as a head teacher, I was not aware of the learning level. If you had asked me what is the percentage, I did not know. I also did not know what a good teaching looks like. So I've put this information, and to answer the first question about principle into practice, when I went back to my school, I started to look at active learning. And in the active learning, we read articles with my teachers, and we were seeing how does active learning look like, and we started practicing. So grade ones were practicing one model of active learning, the group work. Group 3, grade 2 are practicing the project base, and group 4 were practicing, grade 3 were practicing debates. And then we were observing what was happening. Then we were meeting during the staff, every staff meeting, I was having like 10 minutes or 15 minutes where they were updating me on what is happening in active learning. and we are reflecting that and we are reviewing. So based on that process of active learning, we found that in my school, when we started in October, that was the state of active learning in school. But when I followed up in January, that is what I found out in my school. So when I followed later before the closure in March, that is what happened. So I have learned that when you create an opportunity and you have groups trying different things, the teachers tend to learn from each other, and also there is a lot of improvement in the school. Then the other question we were given is about vision. So when I went back to my school, I started a vision. I shared a vision. We sat with the school members and we developed a vision together. We first look at the old vision, and based on what I learned, we saw that it had to change. So we reviewed the vision, and then we had an activity with everybody from the drivers, the cook, the prefects, for them to tell me how do they understand the vision. And from this, we now were able to create another vision, and we shared with everybody, and we articulated how the vision looked like. So when I did a survey in my school, I found that 98% of the people know the vision, 78 are able to articulate it very well, 56% are living it, and 38% are able to share it with other people. The next question was on collaborative leadership. And in my school, we have developed structure. I'm the head teacher, I have a deputy, I have senior teachers, I have subject panel heads, and I have teachers, school leaders, and class representatives. So what I did when I went back, because of what we learned about delegation, I was able to delegate, and together we formed a team where we're exploring the challenges we are going through in our school, and we are doing classroom observation at levels. We will go to one class as a head teacher, my senior teacher will go, my deputy will go, and another teacher will go on the subject panel, meaning that when you're observing one teacher, we were getting different perspective on how to improve. And we're also checking students' work together. And when we are discussing the results, it's not only the senior teacher who was doing that. We were all doing together and trying to interpret. When we say that grade 2 have improved by 17%, what does it mean? So we were doing that in my school. And then what I found is now teachers trust me a lot, and teachers have become responsible. When I did a survey, I found that 65% of my teachers are now, from 65 in October last year, by March, there were 72% who are now taking roles, and they're doing things on time. All our lessons are planned on time. The syllabus is covered on time. And in literacy, when I compare the December exam and the March exam, we had improved by 17%, in numeracy by 12%, an average from grade 1 up to 3. So I learned a lot that when you delegate, you empower others, and they really help you in the classroom. On the issue of learning across the school, we approach together. When we are looking at activity in the school, we had a structure whereby we claim first, we look for evidence, then we decide what to do. We also decided that we need to track real time. We don't wait for end of term to see what is happening. So every week we are having our teachers posting what is happening in the class in terms of grades, in terms of attendance, in terms of activity, in terms of engagement. And we are looking all against the learning outcome. So you find that in the school we are tracking, and we had communities of learning. So teachers were paired in 3, and they were learning together. And we had school-based continuous professional learning. So those who went for the CBC training, when they came, we organized on a Saturday afternoon, and we all came and they trained us. So everybody who was going out for a training, when they came back to our school, they were training us. And then any teacher who was doing something nice, I created an opportunity and I invited the other, because when we are going around, we were seeing them doing well. So when we created that opportunity, we invited the other teachers to come and see what was happening. Even as the head, I was also teaching. I taught grade 2 mathematics, and I also taught environmental in grade 3, and I invited the teacher to come and see. I even recorded it in the video, and I sent to our WhatsApp group, and they were giving me feedback to see what was happening. We also created a coaching environment in my school. So what I saw is teachers have now started sharing good practices and resources. and teachers are learning, and the assessment is improving. And the performance on average from grade 1 to 3 has improved by 15%. So I've seen that when we model and when we track and when we learn together in the school, there's an opportunity for growth. In terms of monitoring what is happening, just instead of just doing TPAD, we have been doing observation, regular observation, not just for TPAD, regular observation, and we have been finding opportunity to support. So, for example, I found a teacher in grade 1 green who was doing very well, and I paired grade 1 green and grade 1 blue teachers, and they were working together so that one green teacher was mentoring the other teacher. I also took opportunity to model some of these practices. So by doing this, I found that exemplary practice were coming out. I also found that TPAD was not now a problem because teachers were knowing what to do, and whatever they were writing, they were not able to cheat because I had also known what they were doing in class. And then teachers were trying out new ideas. Though this is what I have in my school. So I've just modeled what you can do to prepare your presentation. I've talked about implementation, I've talked about impact, and I've talked about my learning. So that is what I would like you to put in your presentation. So once you have organized your presentation like that, you have put evidence and you have organized, because before you submit, you need to convert it to a video. And this is how you convert it to a video. Let us listen.
A PowerPoint into a video. Once you've finished arranging your school project and you have all the evidence, you can now convert it to a video by adding a narration and saving it as a video. To do that, you go to record slideshow. So when you click record slideshow, whatever you say will be part of that particular slide which was showing when you are recording slideshow. For example, when I click record slideshow, whatever I'm going to say now will appear in this slide. It will be part and parcel of this particular slide. So if I say Sule Moja school project, so all that will be part of that slide until I click end show. When I click end show, it will stop adding the narration to that, and it asks me if I want to keep that particular time for that slide. That is 24 seconds. So I can agree and say yes. And when I go to the slide and I look at that slide, you will see there is a speaker on that particular slide. So when I click that particular slide, there is that recording on the slide, and I can play and will get what I said. Whatever I'm going to say now will appear in this slide. It will be part and parcel of this particular slide. So if I say Sule Moja school project, so all that will be part of that slide until I click end show. When I click end show, it will stop adding the narration to that. So you can see the extent of what is recorded to the slide. So I'll repeat this with only sharing the information that is supposed to be on a particular slide. So if I click this and I repeat the same process and I click on record slideshow, but I only make sure that I'm only speaking when it is under record slideshow so that the information only comes for record slideshow. Welcome to Shule Moja Primary School in Kijiji Town, Mjini. The school is in Kati Zone, Mjini Sub-County, Kati County. In my school, I have leadership with 1 deputy and 2 senior teachers, as well as 10 board of management. I have 6 male and 7 female teachers, as well as 400 boys and 350 girls. The school is double-streamed, and it has the following resources. So the moment I clicked the end show, the recording stopped. So whatever I said up to that point was on that particular slide. If I agree on this timing of 1 minute 9 seconds, I say yes. So again, when I come here, you will see there is a speaker. And if I play this, it will only play what I had recorded between record slideshow and the place where I placed the stop. Let us try. Welcome to Shule Moja Primary School in Kijiji Town, Mjini. The school is in Kati Zone, Mjini Sub-County, Kati County. In my school, I have leadership with 1 deputy and 2 senior teachers, as well as 10 board of management. I have 6 male and 7 female teachers, as well as 400 boys and 350 girls. The school is double-streamed, and it has the following resources. So you can see that it has only recorded what I had from the point I clicked record slideshow and the point I clicked end show. So you can do that for each of the slides so that all the slides will have your narration. And then once you have done for all the slides, when you want to now convert it to a video, you'll now go to File, and you ensure that when you're saying File, you export. Depending on your version of PowerPoint, you can save as a movie or an MP4. For my situation, I will export, and I will export it as an MP4. And then because of quality and you're going to submit, you have to make sure that the quality is either internet quality or low quality, because when you're submitting, you're doing it through internet. Then we say export. If you look at down here, you will see it is saying PowerPoint is converting the PowerPoint into a video. So it is this video which you'll submit as part of your submission. You can watch more on YouTube on how to convert PowerPoint into videos. Thank you.
So that is a model of what can be done. And I'll show you the last product, the end product, which you are going to submit. This is how we expect it to look at, either this way or much better.
Welcome to Shule Moja. This will be a presentation of our school project. Shule Moja is located in Kijiji Town, Mjini. It is in Kati Zone, Mjini Sub-County, Kati County. In my school, we have a deputy, 2 senior teachers, 10 BOM, 6 male and 7 female teachers, 400 boys, 350 girls. It's a double stream school with the following resources. When you got back from school, we began with vision. So we had vision creation, and then we shared our vision to all the stakeholders in the school, and then we made sure that it was articulated by all the stakeholders. Then we have been tracking how the vision has been unfolding in the school. And what we have currently is those who know the vision, those who articulate the vision, those who are living the vision, and those who are able to share the vision to others. We are still working today for this to make sure it is 100%. The leadership team was delegated, and all the leaders at different levels were involved in the different activities in the schools. So we had leadership meetings to explore the challenges and also come up with the possible solution, as well as track how the solutions were being undertaken. We also did classroom observation together at different levels, and we consolidated our results for multiple perspectives. we're also checking the students' work to track learning. And the result analysis was done at all levels and shared by everybody. What we saw from this is there was more trust among the team members. The level of responsibility has improved from 65% to 72%. All lessons are now planned. The syllabus is covered on time, and literacy has improved by 17%. Numeracy has improved by 12% on average from grade 1 to 3. We worked with my teachers on how we can track teaching and learning in the classroom, and we came up with a procedure of claiming evidence and tasking, as well as we are tracking the performance of all the learners in real time, and we are also tracking the learning outcomes of our learners. So what we are doing, we are tracking to ensure that learning is happening. We also had communities of learning where teachers in triads were learning together. We had school-based continuous professional learning activity. As our head teachers are also teaching some lessons to model what I expected to happen, and we had coaching happening across. So what we saw from this is that teachers started sharing good practices and resources, and teaching and learning and assessment has improved in my school. The performance has improved by 15% average for grade 1 up to 3. The monitoring and evaluation of learning facilitated us to know the tracking of teaching and learning. And here we had observations where we had regular observation of teachers. Then we also had support, whereby we used the finding to support the teachers for mentorship and coaching, as well as putting them in triads. Then we also had modeling, whereby we could identify an example practice and pair and triad for modeling. What we saw from this was exemplary practices were shared, and the TPAD became authentic because everybody was using real correct information. And teachers were also able to try out new ideas. When we went back to the school, we wanted to try principles into practice. So we were looking at active learning. We read articles, and with my team and school leadership, we collaboratively tried to see how the principles can be applied into classroom, and how this was done. We were reflecting as well. We were reviewing what was happening. So we looked at aspects like new ideas, risk-taking, based practice, literacy performance, and as well as evidence of authentic assessment. So in October, that was what was the results across the school. Some were 0. Then in January, when we checked again, that was the results. And in February, that was the result. So there was an increment in all aspects we measured. That is a snapshot of our school project. And I hope after watching it, you'll come up with questions and clarification for more information. Thank you from Shule Moja.
So this is what you submit. We're going to share with you a form. The form you are going to submit and upload this particular video. We'll watch it and prepare questions so that when you come back, we will ask you questions as you are preparing for your speech. So, Abdi, how are they going to prepare for their speech?
Thank you very much for taking us through how we will work on setting up the PowerPoint into becoming a video. What you've seen from the presentation is that you need to have your evidences with you. If you don't have your evidences, it will be very hard to develop the video. So the next thing that we will do is we need now to prepare for our reflection. So what we will do is we will start by preparing our own video that we need to submit. As facilitators, we will watch the video and then we will formulate the questions that during the reflection webinar. Now you are preparing a 6-minute narrative video. What we will do is we will provide you with some guide notes. You will watch the guide, including this that we have done. You can refer to the video that we have prepared here. Then you need to pitch your preparation. And in pitching your preparation, these are some of the things that you need to work on. Make sure that you have a storyboard. Do not just come and give you a story and keep repeating other things, saying things because you had not planned. Sit down and plan. In pitching your story, we need a theme. What is your main focus? And then that is what we were calling our focus when we started. What is your point of view? Why did you pick on a particular reason? You said probably this is what we are doing. What are the reasons that made you pick that particular point of view? And then can you give us now examples that are coming from that? This is what now you will record. After you have prepared it, maybe into 6 or 7 slides, 6 slides, so that it becomes easy with the photos from the school and your narration that comes on top of it, then you can record. After recording, listen to it. Listen and then reflect. Are you happy with what you have recorded? Does it give a proper picture of what your school looks like? Can it give us an example of how your school has grown and how your instructional leadership has come through? If you are happy with it, well and good. If you are not happy with it, you can review and work again on it and then record for a second time. I want us to watch a short clip here that will guide us on the same. Next.
Hello, my name is Brian Tracy, and I've given more than 5,000 talks and seminars in more than 75 countries. And what I've learned is that preparation is essential to your ability to deliver a powerful speech. The more you plan and prepare, the more confidence you will have when you finally stand up to speak. The PREP formula is an extremely effective preparation technique that some of the best speakers in the world use all the time. The first P in PREP stands for point of view. This is where you state your thought, idea, or fact at the beginning of each talking point. For example, you could say, more people are going to make more money in the next 10 years than in the last 100 years. The R stands for reasons for your point of view. State your reasons for holding this point of view or idea. For example, you could say, the number of millionaires and billionaires, most of them self-made in one generation, has increased by 60% in the last 5 years, and the rate of increase is accelerating. The letter E in the PREP formula stands for example. Illustrate or use an example to reinforce and prove your point of view. For example, you could say, in 1900, there were 5,000 millionaires in America and no billionaires. By the year 2000, there were 5 million millionaires and more than 500 billionaires. By 2007, according to Business Magazine, there were 8,900,000 millionaires in the United States, over 700 billionaires worldwide, most of them first generation. Also stands for point of view. Restate to emphasize your idea further. For example, you could say, there have never been more opportunities for you, the creative minority, to achieve financial success that exists today, except for years ahead. You'll use these elements of the PREP formula to build out and organize the key points in your talk.
Thank you very much. Now, what we have learned from that little clip is the PREP formula. When we are talking of the PREP formula, that is how we shall be pitching our presentation. Remember, you will be coming for the reflection. First, you will send us the video, which we shall watch, and then wait for you. When you are coming, you should have your own pitch. We shall provide you some little time.
And in this little time, this is what we expect you to talk about. Your storyboard, your theme. For example, if my theme is engaging all learners, what is my point of view? I chose engaging all learners because I believed when learners are engaged, they learn effectively. You see, I'm only taking 1 minute. I'm not taking a lot of time. It's like my introductory bit. That is the first P. Then the R of reasons. When learners are engaged, they participate actively in learning, which is transformational. Also just 1 minute. Then I go to the E of the prep, which is example. The collaborative designs of the vision, sharing and articulation has enabled us to live our vision. The guidance by the vision facilitated transfer of principles into practice, delegating leadership roles and monitoring learning. This has led to, and then you show some of the things that you have already achieved. Now, you don't just put the 15%, the 35%, the 40%. You will have to have some evidence. If you are talking that of improved percentage of vision aspects by 15%, then you have to know how many people who are there, divide by the total number, how many have achieved, divide by the total number, and then you get the percentages. So you will put all of them down, and then you come to the final P, which is your point of view, which can relate. I can relate my learning to the ripple effect. This is because we started small and it went all on to all places of the school. So what we are expecting of you is that you should be prepared to share only one action point that you are going to take as a result of your experiences across the program. Do you feel that your aspirations that you defined on day one have been met? Remember, on day one, you said, this is what I want to achieve by the time we go back. Then you will be given time to complete your individual evaluation. We know that this has been a hard work for us, and we want to wish you well as you plan so that you continue to develop your instructional leadership expertise and implement strategies to monitor and evaluate teaching and learning. So don't forget, when you are preparing, you start by recording. Listen to your recording, reflect about the recording that you have made, review it if you need so that you can ensure everything that you need is covered, and then you record again. That way you will have a complete thing that you will share with us. So how we are preparing for this is that we shall have a synchronous online, a whole group session. This is what we've had right now. And the next that we shall have will be the synchronous offline, where you will be working on your own in groups of 5. You'll be working on your own, and we will be talking to you and looking at some of the things that you have done. Unless they have questions, Dr.
Abdi. So we have come to the end of the session, and we will ask you questions. We have finished the first. We have finished that one. And now the next time we are going to meet is after we are going to send you a link. You send us your video. And then the next time we are going to meet, we are not going to meet in this group. We'll meet in 5 schools, 5, 5, 5, 5. And now you'll be telling us your pitch. So we have shown you how to make a video, submit, how to prepare your speech, and come and speak. Remember, the video and the speech should be building on each other and not repeating each other. So we have watched your video. So don't tell us what is in your video. Tell us something more. Build on what you have. Don't repeat on what you have already told us. So thank you very much for the session. We now welcome questions and clarification because we have finished the session. Questions and clarifications? You can put your question in chat. Any question on how to move the next stage? Are we ready to prepare our video in the next 5 days? Are we ready to come for the 5 groups of 5? So the video is expected minimum 5 days from today. What is the date today?
13th?
13th
August.
So 18th, you have to present the video because we need to watch it before we meet. So by 13th August, let's have your video submitted by 18th of August. We are going to send you a form on how to submit, where you will put your school's detail and then you will upload the video. So 18th August, by midnight, your video should be in. Any other question? Any other question? Remember, your pitch will be only 6 minutes. Your pitch will be 6 minutes and it will be building on your video. So the pitch will be building on the video, not repeating what is in the video. Any questions, clarification, worry, concern, advice, way forward? The floor is yours now. The floor is yours. Yes, Peter, your hand is up. Unmute and ask your question. I think it's Joseph. Yes.
Joseph, come out, unmute, please.
Joseph, unmute yourself. Unmute and tell us what's your question.
Yes, yeah, Daktari, I only wanted you to maybe go through again those points briefly, very briefly, maybe in like 20 seconds, how you go through these points of preparing the video.
How to?
Hello? Are you hearing me?
The points of how. The points on how to prepare a video.
How to prepare the video. Yes, yes, briefly, please.
Yeah, we are going to share a video. I'm just going to send you a video in this chat. In this chat, I'm just adding a video. You just watch that video. You watch that video about how to prepare a video, and it might be helpful for you.
Kindly send it on the WhatsApp chat, because that's where everyone is available. Some of them are not available on our chat here for the Teams meeting.
Okay, I'll put it here. Let me see if I can put it on the WhatsApp chat. Thank you, Abdi, for that. I don't know how big it is. It might refuse. So let me try to put in Kiambu chat. It's Kiambu, isn't it?
Yes.
So I'm putting it in Kiambu. I'm trying because I don't think I've shared it through this. Let me see. Any other question? We are here to support you and we are here to make sure that you succeed. Wow, I'm seeing 199 chats in Kiambu. Must have been very busy.
Dr. G.
Yes, please.
Dr. G.
Yes,
there is
I'm
one by
listening.
Anna and one more participant at the time. There is a concern that the time is too short for the video, given that there is a weekend and classes have been open. They are requesting for it to be fast.
Okay, that is Luisa's question. That is a Luisa question. And the other question, Huntington, the other question.
No, that was the only concern I'm bringing to attention.
Okay. Thank you. That's Louisa question.
The other concern, she was asking you clarify if the speech will be in video. No, we are submitting this speech will be used as you are preparing your own speech. Share.
I've shared it in WhatsApp. You can see it in WhatsApp, and thank you for that. Any other question? Any other question? We have come to the end of the session, and we are asking for any other question. So, Bwana Joseph, you'll see in WhatsApp, I've shared the videos, so it will help you. It explains how to do it.
Thank you.
Any other question? Lisa, are you in the house? Huntington, any
Yes.
comments? Dr. Sam, Marigat, any comment? Esther, Charles Muigai, any comment? Nation, Priscilla? Priscilla, Nation, unmute yourself and say something before Lisa comes on. Priscilla in the house?